One question that I usually get is how to find best books to read. Like there are so many ways to, like there are so many people that share the book, but how to find best book that yourself, or how to find that best book in the world, or how to find new books to read. Usually we all know that Ikigai, Atomic Habit, a lot of free books, then a lot of books available. We all know that book, but how to find the new books? This is the usually that I question I get. So in this video, I'm going to share how I find the new books to read, how I read new books, and how you can find the new books to read. First, a way to find the new books to read is the concept called books in books. So basically, when you start reading a book, whether it is a non-fiction book or the fiction book, usually in the fiction book you don't get any idea. But if you are reading a non-fiction book, in that book you will get a lot of new ideas. So books in the book concept is there are books, and in that books they have author has mentioned some books. Like if you have watched my latest video, the minimalistic entrepreneur by the Sahil. So he is a founder of the Gumroad, and he created this. He wrote this book, which is the minimalistic entrepreneur. And if you go to the end of every chapter, there are key takeaways, and after key takeaways, he suggested few articles to read, few books to read. So on that you have to make the list of that book. So this is the best way to find new books, because you are already reading one book which is your interest, and in that book you will find a lot of other books that will also create interest or the curiosity for you. So this is the first method you can go and find out the best books to read. So whenever you are reading the book, if author has mentioned any book, like if you talk about the Mark Manson, or if you talk about any other book like 0 to 1 or the Alumni of Naval Ravikant, in that book there are books mentioned that at the end of a chapter or at the end of the book you will find a material to read. Try to go that material, try to read that book, and in that articles or in that book again you will find another few books to read. So this is a loop, a kind of infinite life. First you pick up a book, you find 3 to 4 books, you jump on that 3 to 4 books, in that 3 to 4 books you will find another 3 to 4 books. So this cycle continues, and you get to idea that which is the best book for you. It's not like that you have to complete the book, but you will start creating, or you will have a lot of a big funnel of the books. Like you will have 100 books, and after that you will jot down to okay, these are the books I find interesting to read in the future, because these are the suggested by my favorite book author, or these are the books recommended in the books. So this is the first method you can find books in the books method. Second way you can find the best books is, second way I find best books is nothing but the podcast. So I listen a lot of podcasts. It's not only about random podcast, but I listen Joe Rogan podcast. There are some podcasts on the cryptocurrency, there are some podcasts on the finance, there are some podcasts on the business. So I listen to a lot of podcasts, and in that podcast they usually suggest the book name, like you have to keep your ears open to listen to that, and in that podcast you will find new books. There are so many books I found into just because the podcast. So How to Not Die Alone, which is the book I found in another podcast. Then there are few podcasts in that found I book. Like if you talk about, go on the Tim Ferriss podcast, and if you try to listen to his podcast, then you will definitely going to find out at least 5 to 10 books in that podcast. Next way to find the good books to read is nothing but the newsletter. So if you go about on the Twitter, or if you search for the best newsletter, then you will find like Austin Coley, then the Mark Manson, then a lot of authors have their own newsletter, and in that newsletter they share a lot of new books. So this is the best way to understand the author's mindset, or what author is reading, and after that how they are writing. So this is the best way to understand how they are thinking. So to be honest, I also have the newsletter. You can check the link in the description, where I share a lot of new books to read, lot of new books to understand, and it's literally amazing. So make sure you check out the newsletter, and we also have the Telegram group to talk about, so you can join the Telegram group and have fun there. So newsletter is another way to find out the great one. I will put 2 to 3 links about the newsletter, where you can join that and you will find the next great book to read. The fourth way to find the good books is nothing but the Goodreads. On the Goodreads app, or on the Goodreads, you can check out the what are the friends are reading, what are the trending books, what are the best selling books, what are the award, like which award goes to which book. On that Goodreads only you can find a lot of great books. But I won't recommend highly Goodreads. because it's not, I won't say authentic, but it's a collection thought or it's a kind of subjective term. So go on the Goodreads and then check out the Twitter, check out the other platform also about that book, and then you will understand, okay, why Goodreads is good or why Goodreads is not good. So Goodreads is another way where you can find out a lot of new books to read, a lot of new books, notes, authors, so many things you will find out on the Goodreads. So you can also check out the Goodreads. The last but not the least is nothing but the Bookstagram community or the booktube community. So if you follow a lot of booktuber or the bookstagrammer, so I'm also bookstagrammer, which is books plus Instagram, that is Bookstagram. So make sure you follow me on the Instagram, so you will get a new update about a lot of new books in the stories, because I don't post on the post, but on the stories you will find a lot of new books, also a lot of relatable reels. So make sure you join on the Instagram. So on the Instagram, if you follow some people, they try to always read the new books, they try to suggest new books, they try to go into the new books, and that's something really awesome. Even I follow a lot of good bookstagrammers, they share a lot of new books, they share a lot of new concepts which are literally amazing. So make sure you join or check out the Bookstagram also. Just to search the hashtag Bookstagram and you will find a lot of accounts, and you can follow them and you can take their recommendations, or you can see what books they are reading, and after that you can pick up the best book for you. So this is the way how I find the next best book for me, or the next book that I want to read. This is the best way to go. But the first three are, which is one of my favorite. First one is the podcast, books in the books, and the newsletter. These three are for me, it is a legit and the authentic. I follow a lot of them. So make sure you guys also follow the same pattern, and you will find a lot of new books to read. So that's pretty much everything about today's video, where I shared how I find next best book to read, and how you also now you can find next best book to read, or next great book to read, whatever you call it. But this is how you can find the new books to read out of this void. Try to get the clear direction, and then you will find the book. So if you are looking for more book recommendation, then check out this video where I shared all the recommendations video. And if you are looking for the book summaries, check out this playlist where I shared all the book summaries playlist. So that's pretty much about today. See you in the next one. Bye bye, tata, take care.